And we are back with another episode. Today we got a quick one for you. It is for Crossfire X. Now this is a new version of Crossfire, a multiplayer shooter that is huge in China and South Korea. It has been going strong since it first released in Korea in 2007 and has actually broken records as one of the world's most played video games by player count, 1 billion users in 18 countries. So it was only a matter of time before someone smelled money and got wise and tried to bring it to even more territories. And how here we are. Crossfire X is a new English version for Xbox Series X, S and One that has a multiplayer component and optional single-player campaigns that are actually made by Remedy, believe it or not, the folks behind Alan Wake and Control. So we could not help but be curious here, you know. We jumped in and we have got some very brief first impressions just because the game kind of just realized with no fanfare. Reviewers were not given early access for it or anything, so everybody's going in blind. So we wanted to give you just some raw information here. This footage is captured on an Xbox Series X. Now buckle up, I'm gonna be spicy on this one. It is a weird product. First, especially for the multiplayer, it is more or less a Counter-Strike game. I would even go future to say that this is just a misser, more generic CSGO with a bunch of gross free-to-play elements strapped on it. Straight up, I'm not into it and it does not really seem like any of us here at Gamer Ends really are personally. I think there are so many other competitive shooters out there that work harder for your time and your money. But let me explain. Now there's classic mode and modern mode, where modern mode gives you the sprint and ADC, and some permission bonus choice stuff, as well as skill streaks in certain maps. Classic mode is just good old point and shoot, no ADC, which I do like in many games. Competitive fast and chaotic, and it is small team. Objective based usually. For modern mode you have 2 maps and for classic mode you have 4. The main modes are point capture and search and destroy, which is like a bomb drop of a drone visual. Does that sound familiar? No, certain maps have little spins on the mods in terms of pacing and layout, and then there's also an infection mode and TDM. It is all fine if you need of a bit of fine tuning, but it is just all lifeless. Other than some flashy menu presentation, there really is nothing to any of this. It is really raw on the eyes. It looks kind of old. I mean, you can see for yourself here. It is a generic bland shooter man versus other shooter man team, and that is all fine and good. But when this shooting is so simple and just kind of middle of the road, it just makes it all that much worse. I will play a generic looking game if it is actually gone fun core gameplay, but Crossfire X just seems unsurprising and simple and also just a hot mess. Also, we are clearly not very good at the game. But that is besides the point, cause gameplay wise nothing feels quite right. It feels already enough like a PC shooter slapped into a console without any fine tuning that should come with that. Feedback and shooting feel weird and messy. The sound for the weapons is fine, but the feedback, the controller, the way his registration works, nothing about it really feels great. Nothing feels satisfying. There are options to adjust sensitivity and aiming and stuff like that, but no option really make it perfectly smooth. If anything true, there's a modern mode with ADS just even does not feel right at all. I have had the game crash on me a ton already, just in the main menus over the course of the day, and any players more than a few feet away move around in front of us at 15 frames per second, it looks really bad. Anytime you move too fast in the menus or bounce out to the Xbox Home, the game either hangs up for a good 10 seconds or completely freezes up entirely. It is frustrating when you just wanna hop in for a game or two. It is missing now, along with that it is got all the free to play trappings you are either gonna love or hate. Multiple tabs dedicated to stuff front and center, from a battle pass to a full store to spending money in it for guns and character skins. but many of which, aside from a few really cool standouts, are just mostly unsimpered and not cool and not even worth the effort. They just want you to stay up. This is all a real shame because of the total flip side the game also offers, like I said. Two story-based single-player campaigns with multiplayer chapters made by Remedy. Now it does not seem to be Remedy's finest work. By any means, it's definitely just a track gig for them. I think, but it is just like a bunch of bomb dollar coaster rides. It is like a Call of Duty campaign. It is cinematic with big action set pieces, but it is measure and chapter and a bit more forgettable. Still, instantly enough, it is way more fun to play than the multiplayer. It is two linear adventures that you download and load into separately, and each are on different sides of the opposing faction. And in it you go through the shooting galleries, stuff blows up and it looks and plays way better. It is also running on a different game engine, which is wild. It is still not perfect, there is a really half-baked, long out of cover implementation that just makes feel like an old console game, and it can still be kind of buggy. I had weird sound and visual glitches, but it can make for a little bit of middle's fun. You have this cool ability you can trigger that slows down time, but time still moves the more you move, kind of like super hots. Slow motion moment mixed with the crazy effects and explosions of something like VR. You know, blood sprays and stuff explodes everywhere, and it can be pretty thrilling despite enemies being pretty much mindless fodder for a lot of the game. It does show the cool scenarios UA, some sniper scenes, some chase scenes, a lot of it surprisingly satisfying. I will call it cheap thrills. Sometimes you will quickly swap between characters, like one guy on the ground and one guy sniping. And it can be creative in spots, especially man, because you could see Remedy doing this there here. Flashy graphics and visuals, a lot of cool. Mind-bending 3% and inner monologue, and some elements of real-life action video in spots. It has some wild moments and I was genuinely surprised with what I saw. Also, we give you some pros, some cons, and a lot of personal opinion. We think this is a good game and we recommend you play this game. Thanks for watching, subscribe and press like. Goodbye.